Hyphen. I'm assuming by now you must have heard what happened yesterday. So Israel conducted an airstrike that took place in Doha, Qatar yesterday. And this is what was the cause or the purpose for the airstrike. It was to end the life of the senior Hamas leader, Khalil al-Hayya, which he survived the attack. So Hamas have been having their political office in Doha, Qatar, that was established in 2012, and it was a co-joint by the Doha, Qatar government and the US government, so that this office was supposed to act as a hub where they can conduct all the political negotiations and things like that, where they can be, the strategy to ceasefire between, the Hamas and the Israelis. I mean, the office was so strategic also that, it can be like a neutral ground where they can be having all the talks like that. But now, yesterday, there was supposed to be a meeting to discuss a proposal that was proposed by the US government, rather Donald Trump, between Hamas, to cease fire between Hamas and the Israelis. But when the meeting was supposed to happen, Israeli took it as a chance, the only chance that they had to take out the Hamas top leader, Khalil al-Hayya. And so they conducted an airstrike that ended up claiming a couple of lives. I think Qatari security officer, some directors, a couple of people who were within the premises, because the office is actually located in a residential area, to my understanding. So you might ask yourself, how did it happen? But you should know that Qatar is like a mediator. He doesn't involve themselves with these wars or anything. So they just act as a mediator. So the act of Israeli conducting a strike on the sovereign nation, I think that's quite barbaric to my review. But how did it happen, and how did they get access to Qatar's, or rather Doha's, airspace? Qatar hosts the Americans' largest command air base in the Middle East, which is called Al Udeid Air Base in Doha, Qatar, that harbors about 11,000 American soldiers, and they control literally all their military operations that takes place within the Middle East. So they were quite aware that Israelis were going to conduct the airstrike. And actually the US knew that, and they tried to warn the Qatari, but they did that while the attack had already happened. So was that we can say they gave Israel a leeway to conduct their attack? Because US is literally Israeli, and Doha, Qatar, is a non-NATO ally and is a US friend. Actually, the other time they gave Donald Trump a Boeing worth 400 million US dollars as a gift, so that the Americans can secure their protection in terms like this. But it didn't happen yesterday. So basically, an action like this is quite barbaric, because how would you say that the Israelis, they are actually interested in the ceasefire? They are not interested in the ceasefire when you look at the situation that happened yesterday. Because if the meeting was to take place, was to discuss on how to ceasefire and bring about peace between Hamas and Israelis, and then the Israelis took the opportunity to bomb the place where the meeting was supposed to take place, does that one show that like the Israelis or Netanyahu is interested with the ceasefire? Definitely no. So the Israelis were not successful in killing the Khalil al-Hayya, but they got his son Hamam al-Hayya, and a couple of people who were around. They actually lost their lives. So this is really sad, and it reaches that point where you ask yourself, how does it become that Israelis, they quite bullying everyone in the region, and there's nobody who's talking about. And totally there's no action that is going to be taken. This is, I don't want to get into the deeper part of this. I don't want really to make so much commentaries on this, because this is not something that, this is not the local politics that we talk about. But I thought it's good to share with you, like, the beat of whatever happened yesterday. So yeah, that's what happened. And yeah, Khalil Al-Haya is said allegedly to have survived the attack. But just that there's no way those strike, military planes or jets, they went there without US permission. Definitely they were granted the green light to go and conduct the strike.